Hello there, singing friends. Welcome back to my singing channel. It's Mickey, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. Today is the day before Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. By the time you see this video, it will be Mother's Day. Today, I'm going to be doing a reaction request from Michael German, and he writes, "This is the Gathering, Colorado incident. You may recall that the fantastic singer for this band from the Netherlands was Anneke van Giersbergen, who is beloved by symphonic metal fans, particularly in Europe, who credit her with having laid the foundations of symphonic Euro metal with her early singing with The Gathering, a good example of which is shown here. She has a very unique phrasing style, which at times is almost conversational and is also very melodically fluid, in that her melodies are almost gymnastic. The tone of her voice is beautiful. This song is Anneke's contemplation of the emotional impact of their tour, which I understand was written during a period when their tour bus overheated in Colorado on their way to a show." Okay, so you know I like to pay attention to the lyrics. So let's read the lyrics together first. If you don't want to hear the lyrics first, you can fast forward through this part. So the lyrics are, "The magical air evaporates whenever we float down from the big plateau. We are here to let you know our rearview mirror is full of meaning. Our endless trip is now in session. The 12-wheel drive is overfloating with great experience. You've heard our rearview mirror is full of meaning. Heating up, coming down with the biggest flu. Our moves have set the evening, and we feel right, winding down, hanging on to silence. While equipment is digesting in the underbelly of our ride, we believe and let you know our rearview mirror is full of meaning." I love that. That's such a funny and fun and whimsical way of describing a tour bus and a tour. It almost reminds me of like Shel Silverstein or something, you know? It's like, it's so just, there's so many good metaphors in there and it's so imaginative. You know, when I read this, the magical air evaporates whenever we float down from the big plateau. It makes me think of like, what a high it is to be performing in front of people and then to have to come back down to reality when you like get in the tour bus afterwards to go to the next town, you know? We are here to let you know our rear view mirror is full of meaning, right? So that makes me think of like all the memories that they're making, because when you see in the rear view, it's like looking in the past. Our endless trip is now in session. The 12-wheel drive is overfloating with great experience. So I love that. So our endless trip, right? It's like, you could think about it like a psychedelic trip in one sense, but also just like life is a journey. And like when you find your passion, it feels like an endless journey. You know, you never want it to end. Our 12-wheel drive, you know, it's like, wow, that bus is a lot of gears, right? And instead of overflowing, right, overfloating, because she already said whenever we float down from the big plateau. So nice callback there and nice word play. And then again, you've heard our rearview mirror is full of meaning. Heating up, coming down with the biggest flu. So I don't know if that's like, it's spelled like a flue in a fireplace, right? So that kind of calls back to the heating up. And you can think about like an engine heating up, but also just like things getting exciting, right? And then afterwards you're cooling down or coming down, right? And you could also say coming down with the biggest flu, like, oh, I have the flu, right? You're like passion sick after that big show. Our moves have set the evening, and we feel right, winding down, hanging on to silence, right? So it's like the silence after the crowd roar, after the music. While equipment is digesting in the underbelly of our ride. I love that image, right? All the equipment underneath the tour bus. we believe and let you know our rearview mirror is full of meaning. So I just think that's very clever and very playful and unique. So let's jump right in and check this out. Again, this is the Gathering Colorado Incident. Very cool. So already I really, really like it. I love the layers, the musical layers. So when it started with like pulsing, it sounded almost like electronic, you know? And then you had that first guitar that came in and it was like so just gritty, you know, like almost like lacking in tonality. It was like more distortion than tone. And then you had the second layer of guitars that was definitely more tonal, and sounds like really heavy with the drums and everything else. And then when her voice comes in, it's just such a nice juxtaposition with the metal sound, because it, you know, just hearing like a female voice is unusual in and of itself. And then the melody choices and the way that she throws her voice so easily on those jumps, right? The da 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 da. It's so like effortless. It's just like a gesture, you know? I'm sure I'm not getting the melody exactly right from hearing it once, but you get the idea, you know? It doesn't sound like she's really like stretching or reaching for the notes. It's just like she's throwing it away and landing there effortlessly. Gonna pause it there for a moment. So a lot of different techniques going on here. I know I've mentioned this in the previous songs of theirs that I've watched, but there is something about her voice that reminds me a lot of the singer from the Cranberries, with the way that she uses her break as like an effect, you know? So it's like a controlled crack where you're going from chest voice coordination to a head voice coordination without like doing the transition smoothly, you know? And it's using that as like a flavoring or like an ornament. She also has a little bit more brightness in her tone, like she's spinning it forwards and it sounds a little bit like twangy, you know? Like it's not nasal, but there's like a quality to it where she's spinning her resonance into her nasopharyngeal space, so it sounds a little bit brighter, you know? So that's very cool, and it helps her voice kind of carry over the rest of the instruments. There's a lot of stuff in here in the melody construction that's unexpected too. It sounds very experimental, and she's doing a lot of runs along with the rhythmic changes of the guitar, which is really cool. So a lot of stuff in here. And one of the melodies was really interesting and cool. If it comes up again, I'll point it out because I can't replicate it immediately. There was also a section where they changed rhythm, so I don't know if that's gonna come back, but we'll hear it we'll keep going and we'll see if it comes back. So here we've got a breakdown, and let's see what happens from here. Pause it there for a moment before I forget what I wanted to say. So you can hear that she's using that right? It's almost like a Alice in Chains kind of nasality. And then she's got a lot of like really wide vibrato in there, which is also like an interesting effect. I thought the guitar solo was cool. It was very like sedate in the first half of it, right? And then once the distorted guitars came back in, it got like really heavy, but almost like dirgy and like slow, you know? So very, very cool. Oh, and then they had the syncopated part that I was talking about, the da, 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 right? It's like after the beat. So it feels really interesting the way they change the rhythm up there. Let you know. That was what I was talking about there. The fool on me. She like lets her voice kind of like almost crack there. And it's a really interesting choice. And she does it like repeatedly. So it's not like she's doing it, you know, accidentally or something. It's like a very specific stylistic choice, but it's really interesting and really unusual. So very cool. She's a really interesting singer. Very cool. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really just unique. I thought the lyrics were so creative and so whimsical in a way. And then the music itself, I just love her voice, how experimental she is, but also just the juxtaposition of her voice timbre with the music is really cool and interesting. So I love them. I think they're really, really fun and unique and fascinating. And I even like I guess this is from a record called If Then Else, which is like a provocative title because it makes me think about like grammar puzzles almost, you know, like an if then statement, but then like, what is the else? You know what I mean? So it just like makes me like, it's almost like a puzzle for your brain to chew on. And I like the imagery of the people like in transit moving through the tunnel. And that of course plays into the whole bus transportation debacle. So I think it's a very interesting song. And I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Mike, for the recommendation. And I hope you enjoyed my reaction. And I'll see you guys here next time. Until then, take care. And of course, happy singing and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Bye.